Hey guys, today we're going to be doing a body armor test. RTS Tactical was kind enough to send me one of their level 4 ceramic plates for testing, so thank you RTS, I appreciate that. So I've seen a lot of videos done for body armor, and people sometimes suspend these in a plate carrier. Well, the problem is when you shoot one of these vests, or shoot a plate in a plate carrier suspended, the plate in the carrier will actually swing, which absorbs a lot of the impact. Or I've seen a lot of times where people set the plate down and the plate can just bounce around, there's nothing solid behind the object. Well, when you're actually wearing a body armor, there's going to be a person behind it, which is a fairly solid object. So you want something that's going to hold the plate fairly secure. That way the plate itself takes all of the impact, because that's what needs to be done. It has to stop the impact of the bullet. So we're going to have a sandbag out there behind this to make sure that the plate itself doesn't really move when the bullet strikes it. A little bit about the plate. This is a 10 by 12 plate. It's about 1.1 inches thick, weighs about 6.5 pounds. I've measured it and weighed it, and it meets the specs that RTS Tactical says that it meets. They call it an NIJ level 4 plate. You won't find it if you actually look on the NIJ, because they did not pay for the testing. The testing is extremely expensive, but they sent the plate out to me, and they sent the plate out to some others, so you can actually see videos of this plate being shot. This looks about the same size as the plates that I wore when I was in Afghanistan, but the actual coatings are a lot nicer. It's nice waterproof coating, and it actually looks like a really good solid plate. So we'll find out just how solid it is here in a second when we start trying to shoot it. Alright guys, so here's the ammo we're going to be testing with today. Moving from right to left, we've got the M193 55 grain 5.56. We've got the M855 62 grain SS109 steel core penetrator, also known as green tip, that weighs 62 grains. We've got the Federal Fusion 180 grain 308, and we've also got the Hornady Superformance 150 grain 308. Now that Superformance is rated for up to 3,000 feet per second, and as you know, speed kills on body armor, so I'm very curious to see what happens with the 3,000 foot per second Hornadys. First thing we're going to shoot is the M193. I've got the chronograph set up so we can see how fast these rounds are going, and keep in mind, per the NIJ standard, this armor plate should be able to withstand 6 rounds of a 30-06 armor piercing round, so everything I have to throw at it, it should handle just fine. And it looks like it registered 3,072 feet per second. Alright guys, here's the impact from the M193. Well, it's a pretty big hole up on the front side, and no penetration on the back side. That is a really good sign. There's the hole. Looks like it would hurt, but you would definitely be alive. Okay, and now the green tip, the 62 grain steel core penetrator. Okay, and that looks like it registered 2,993 feet per second. Okay, here's the second shot from the green tip. Hit it where I was aiming at, just right up here on the right. Notice you can see the difference here. The M193, the round itself probably exploded, whereas the round from the 5.56 with the green tip actually stayed together, so you can see it actually tried to penetrate deeper. There's definitely a bigger bulge on the back side of this, but no penetration. See if I can get an angle here. So that's where the M193 hit, very little bulge, and this is where the green tip hit, a much larger bulge, but no penetration. You're still alive. Now we're going to use the 180 grain Federal Fusion 308s. And it looks like 2,517 feet per second. So I hit a little close to this was the 5.56 green tip. This is where I hit with the 308. I hit a little bit closer to the hole that I wanted to, but looking at the other side, well, there's no penetration. The bulge is definitely a lot larger, but you're still alive, which is good. And I didn't even hit a clean spot on the plate. I already hit a damaged plate, and that did not penetrate. So that's what we want to see. Now, one thing I did notice, we had set up a piece of cardboard to check for spalling, and you can see there are some little holes in the cardboard, but I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that I hit pretty much on the same spot where there was already damage to the plate. So we'll try it again, and we'll see what happens when I hit a clean spot on the plate and see if it captures it. Also keep in mind when you're wearing this, you would have a vest on, and that would also help reduce spalling. Something else I just noticed, that last shot from that 308 180 grain fusion actually broke the little bag and the plastic bag when that big bulge came out. So you would probably have some broken ribs, but that's not at all uncharacteristic with getting hit with body armor on. But like I said, no penetration, so you're probably going to survive. Okay, so now we're going to use the 150 grain Hornady Super Performance ammo, rated at 3,000 feet per second. So it's a little lighter weight bullet, but it's moving a lot faster, and I'll try to not shoot the same hole this time. Okay, and you can see we got 2,872 feet per second, so it's moving about 300 or so feet per second faster, so it's a pretty considerable difference. Okay guys, here's the hit on the left. You can see that faster moving around did a lot of damage. This plate's definitely taken some abuse, but no penetration. It cracked the coating on the side, and it left a dent in the sand and the dirt, but no penetration, so your wife probably won't be collecting your life insurance today. And you can see here on the cardboard, it's got a little bit of spalling. Some of the ceramic is coming out of that, but all in all, these holes are pretty small, and looks like they're mostly going to the side, and a lot of that would probably be stopped if you actually had this in a vest. So I don't think this is doing too badly, so I'm pretty impressed so far. Okay, so the plate has taken everything we put at it. I'm pretty satisfied that this thing is going to stop anything you encounter, but I think the most likely threat would probably be 5.56, so I'm going to hit it with a couple more from the M183 and a couple more from the green tip of the 62 grains with the steel core penetrators, and we'll see what happens. Okay guys, here's the 2 shots from the M193. No penetration again. Let's try 2 more, but from the green tip. We'll see if I can put them down here in the left where I've got some space. Okay, and now here's the 2 shots with the green tip. Let's see what happens. Okay guys, I hit down here in the bottom left with the green tip, just like I was aiming for. It's interesting to note the holes are a lot larger with the more frangible ammunition, whereas the green tip is staying together a lot more. So if you actually look here, you can see there's the first penetration and there's the second penetration. It kind of blew out right here, but the second bullet that actually went in didn't actually blow out. So it actually caught most of that bullet in here. And yet again, no penetration. So this has been hit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I think 8 times, and no penetration yet. So I guess let's shoot this some more and see what it takes to get through it. Okay guys, so it's taken everything we've thrown at it. So I've got 3 rounds of the M193 and 3 rounds of the M855. We're just gonna hit this thing 6 times and see if anything goes through. Well, I guess I'm gonna have to tape this up here because this thing's getting pretty beat up, but yet again, no penetration. Okay, so at the previous attempt, the plate actually fell over, so now I'm going to hit it with 2 shots of M193 and 3 shots of M855, assuming the plate doesn't fall over. So let's try this again. So I just hit it with 5 more rounds from the AR, 2 of the M193 and 3 of the M855 steel core penetrators. And it looks like I got 2 penetrations finally. I got 1 there and 1 there. I think those were the M855s. I'll have to check the slow-mo to double check. I'm not sure. I don't think that's a penetration. I think that's just broken maybe. Nope. That actually did penetrate. I can feel it in the bag. So I actually have 3 penetrations now on this plate. You can see the sandbags. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, 3 penetrations. But those shots were also where I already had struck on the plate. And that was after I had already taken 8 rounds with no penetrations. So I think that's pretty impressive. We got a few spots where there's been no strikes at all. I'm going to shoot a couple more rounds just to see what happens. I bet you that'll stop the bullets. Okay guys, I didn't film it, but I shot this plate 2 more times with the green tip. I shot down here in the bottom left where I had not shot before. The entry point of the round was right there. And then I shot the second shot up here where I had not shot before either. No penetration on the bottom, which I was right, and technically no penetration on the top, although it did start to split the fibers. But like I said, this plate has already taken, I don't know, somewhere around 12, 14 shots. I forgot to count. But I'd say that's, I think that's pretty good. And on any of the spots where it was clean, like I said, the rounds did not penetrate. So I'd say this is a pretty good product at stopping bullets.